Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, today we're talking Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. Today we are talking because, once again, an inappropriate comment has taken place in regards to Mel Tel on this messy Monday that Dr. Heavenly and Carlos King is desperately trying to make happen, where they basically try to say, hey, we're reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion Part 1. Hey, we're reviewing what is going on with Portia and Simon's marriage/divorce proceedings and all of the things, but for some reason you like to insert other people who have nothing to do with the topic at hand, who have nothing to do with the show at hand, which tells me it was pre-planned, it was calculated, it didn't just come out of nowhere, right? So what is happening? What am I talking about? What is happening now? A lot more tomfoolery is what's happening. A lot more circus acts is what's happening. A lot more BS is happening. So nonetheless, like I said, this particular Messy Monday is, set up to be like, hey, we're going to give you our reaction to what happened Sunday night at the reunion part 1 and blah, 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 blah. Hey, what do we think of the Portia and Simon situation? Is it temporary? Are they going to get back together? And then out of nowhere, Dr. Heavenly is like, you know what? Not only do I think, Portia and Simon are going to get back together, I think Mel and Martel are going to get back together. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, I heard his D is good like a mother trucker. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, no. This does not even sound, even normal right now. And so then Carlos King, is a terrible actor because his facial expression told me everything I need to know about this comment. But basically, he tried to deny it and said, oh, no, I don't think they'll ever get back together or whatever. But the problem is the damage is done. And the reason that I know that this was not just out of nowhere, because I know Carlos King, this is what he secretly has wanted all along. Regardless of how bad things are right now between Mel and Tel, he wants them back together. And why does he want them back together? Because he told Martel himself, right? Regardless of all the chaos, regardless of him calling the mistress the entire restaurant, regardless of him treating Mel like crap, he also, per Martel's rant. Now, I think Martel is full of it like 99.9% of the time, but I do believe the portion in his rant where he said that Carlos King told him that the Holtz needed to take the show back. I 110% believe that, because Carlos King seems to think that the only way Mel and Martel can work is if they are romantically involved, right? Apparently, it's not going to work if they just co-parent. It's not going to work if they're not getting along. It's not going to work if Mel refuses to film with Martel. They have to be together. Except for that is in Never Ever Everland, right? And what type of friend is Dr. Heavenly? It is just giving absolutely clueless. It is giving absolutely out of touch, out of order. Like, can you catch up on the last 6 seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville before you start reviewing it on this upcoming season, which should be, at least we should be getting a trailer at some point this month. And at some point, the show is either going to premiere at the end of this month or in May. And you have no idea what's happening right now, especially the last few seasons of what's been taking place between Mel and Martel, and you think that they're still going to get back together? And if you're such a good friend to Melody Cherie Rogers, don't you live in Atlanta as well? Why were you not at the Mimosas with Mel event? Where were you? You had time to attend the Black with a QUE Expo in Atlanta and use your contacts and use your PR people to help out some other cast members who needed help. So where were you to support your dear friend Melody Cherie Rogers on Saturday? And this is why I said this is not coming from Dr. Heavenly. See, the thing is, and the reason I know this was pre-planned is that Carlos King made it a point to say that basically Melody is, if not the only one of very few people that anytime he has to do an interview or a live with or anything, Mel does not want anything. She doesn't want to pre-game anything. She doesn't want any pre-planned questions on what can and can't be discussed and all that. She wants to be off the cut. She wants to be raw and authentic the moment that you ask her something, right? So that is why when Dr. Heavenly drops in these random things that have nothing to do with the topic at hand to insert people from other shows to be messy, I think that is a direct, conversation that took place with Carlos King, where he's like, hey, I really can't say that because I'm the producer of the show and they're going to drag me. I can't really say right now in 2024 that I secretly want Mel and Martel back together because I'm going to get dragged by the millimeters and all of the things, right? But Carlos, you literally could have said more in this Messy Monday Live and basically said, hey, I scammed the millimeters in January for a my only sold out event for the reality TV with the King tour, whatever. That finally is a tour. It's no more a one night only special. And you sat there, socially distanced enough from Melody Cherie Rogers to the point that she was basically emotional in discussing her trifling ex-husband and saying that she thought that you were in on this. She thought that you knew all of the things that was happening behind the scenes with Mel Tel and how she was concerned for her safety. She was concerned for her mental health. She was at the brink because this was too much. This is not normal to be filming with an abusive ex, that you have to have security on standby. You have to have a therapist on standby because you cannot predict what will or will not happen. Make it make sense. And you think it's normal because you're attracted to Martel's ball head itself. So all of the logic goes out of the window, right? And it's the same disturbing behavior that I just saw in the interview with Apollo, with Phaedra's ex-husband from Married to Medicine / Real Housewives of Atlanta. This fangirling, this flirting, this inappropriateness that's taking place with this guy that you know is strictly into women, and you're just like foaming at the mouth at oh my gosh, Apollo. Like, what? This is the problem. You cannot separate business and professionalism versus these personal relationships that you also want to develop on the side, and it impacts negatively all the shows that you produce, because the moment you decide who you're going to show favor to, and it's usually the people who are willing to be the most messy, who are typically the least successful in the cast, those are the people you ride behind because they resonate with you for whatever reason. The people who you feel are too successful, are too much of a threat to you, or has already surpassed you, or is already worth more than you in millions, you make it a point to try to destroy them on this show. You make it a point to make them the issue on this show. You try to make them look like they're the op on this show to uplift the people who are willing to do the dirty work for the sake of camera time. And it has to stop. It truly has to stop. But I am over this notion, especially after, and the worst part of this is that Carlos and Dr. Heavenly aren't stupid. They're not dumb. I know they are fully aware of what took place in Atlanta this past weekend. I know they are fully aware how much attention the Mimosas with Melody event took place, especially with all of the celebrities that were in attendance, especially with all of the Black excellence that was in attendance, especially with Hill Harper, who was the keynote, as well as who this fundraiser was for to set up for his Senate campaign, that you are going to literally try to taint this weekend and taint this event by even mentioning Martel's name and mentioning any association that him and Mel should be back together in any capacity. What is wrong with you? And see, in the event that Mel actually was still with Martel, I bet you the Love and Marriage Huntsville cameras would have been there, right? Because that would have been, Carlos King in all of his glory. He would have forced the cast to be there to film as well. I know his game, right? But nonetheless, to randomly insert Martel's name after this big weekend that Mel just had, and she is in the press, she is in the news, all this positivity, all this black excellence, and all these things, and you're going to mention her ex, who is trying to make her life an HELL, and who she still has to go to court with, not only just for the revenge case, but also whether or not the M&M kids can ever be back on TV, if she can ever post them on her social media ever again. Like, you're doing all of this knowing all of this, because you said that you are the king of reality TV, right? So you would know everything that's going on, right? Because you seem to know behind the scenes of what's happening on every other reality show that you do not work on. So I refuse to believe you do not know what's happening on your own shows, especially when Maurice exposed you that he talks to you all the time behind the scenes and you give him advice on how to handle YouTubers and everything else, and whether or not to sue them, allegedly, right? So I refuse to believe that this was just an off-the-cuff comment that Dr. Heavenly just made. No. I know Dr. Heavenly's game. I know how she operates. She never just throws things out there just to throw things out there. She throws things out there for a reaction. She throws things out there because she believes that there is a portion of her fan base that is going to believe anything that she says. So therefore, if they are not familiar with Love and Marriage Huntsville, they're not familiar with what has happened the past 6 seasons, they're not familiar of all of the daily things that are happening off the show and on social media on a daily and hourly basis, that if she throws something out there that Mel and Martel can get back together regardless of how awful his interview was with Tasha K, and after all of the foolishness that's even taking place this year alone, and we're barely a quarter into the new year, and you think that this is appropriate to even say? And I can't believe Carlos shut it down. Him just saying, oh, he doesn't think that's going to happen. No. You wanted that comment out there, right? But then you wanted to play dumb like, oh, no, I don't want that, when it's exactly what you want. You told Martel at some point, at least as of, either as of last year, at least as of 2023, you still were telling Martel that the Holts need to take the show back. So even all this pushing that you're doing of fake storylines and fake entrepreneurs and fake money that you were trying to make happen, and all these fake events that you are scheduling at the same time as Melody Cherie's event, so that clearly the cast as a whole, or as I should say, like you like to say, quote unquote, the core 6, are never going to film together. And it's going to be segregated, and it's going to be a hot mess. It is the same hypocrisy that you basically just complained about on Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine, that no one person should be isolated. That the show cannot move forward if everybody is not, in alignment, is not cohesive, is not working as an ensemble, as a cast. Right? You said that out of your own mouth because you're supposedly a producer. But yet you can't even produce the appropriate thing on your own shows because you let your personal bias and your personal feelings of who you like and who you don't like overshadow putting together a good show. This weekend was a perfect example as to what Black excellence is, what Black excellence represents, but we know you do not want that. You want a show that revolves around everybody coming after Melody Cherie Rogers, because you have tried and the cast has tried and exhausted every single type of option available in hopes that was going to finally have Melody Cherie Rogers walk away. And since that hasn't happened, now allegedly you're after the millimeters, right? And now you're back to square one trying to push this Mel and Martel thing again. But the biggest reason you're pushing it is not because you like their story or their romance or whatever, or how they bounce off of each other. You want them back together because you're shook at how successful Mel is without him. And Martel cannot book the same gigs, cannot get the same level of attention and opportunities and money. And Mel did so much to elevate him. So you want him back with Mel Not because of any romance or, anything of any substance. It is because you see that Mel is the moneymaker, that Mel is the brains behind all the operations that took place in any type of businesses and any type of deals and any type of certifications or anything that needed to take place in order to build, in order to, do whatever in the real estate business. And you see that Martel is a complete flop and all his get-rich-quick schemes are flops. So you only want them back together because you feel that you can showcase black excellence only if it's with a black couple together. For some reason, it's a problem if a black woman on her own is making these moves, because it's unheard of, right? She can't, it's not possible, right? She has to be with Martel to do this. No. Martel was actually holding Mel back, right, from greatness, right? But nonetheless, I'm just disgusted, right? To try to even push this out here and try to just continue to gaslight the millimeters is low, even for Dr. Heavenly and Carlos King, right? Because here's the thing, Carlos King, like I said earlier, you had an opportunity to shut this down, you giving this like fake denial, I don't think they're going to get back together, but your facial expression says otherwise, right? You not shutting this down tells me everything I needed to know. Like I said, you wanted that out there. You pre-planned this with Dr. Heavenly because now all of a sudden that it is mentioned that she's going to be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville, even though she still mentioned Mel and Martel even before she dropped that you guys were going to be reviewing the show together. She likes to insert Mel and Martel in things that have nothing to do with him, in shows that have nothing to do with him, and tries to play like these are her friends. But no friend would be hyping this up if you knew what really was happening. So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.